Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thanks for joining me here with me today. Thanks for joining me here today. We're going to speak about the breaking news that just broke yesterday regarding the 4-year-old missing Australian girl, Cleo Smith. 4 years old, this little girl. She disappeared from her family's tent in a campground in Australia. Now, when I first heard this case, it boggled my mind, being a mother myself, how any mother wouldn't hear someone coming in the tent in the middle of the night. I mean, I've been camping before. If you've been camping, you know, tents are not like the quietest thing. Just unzippering that would definitely make a lot of noise. So her parents must have been very tired to not hear that sound and not hear their daughter get taken in the middle of the night. So, anyways, it has been 18 days she's been missing. 18 long days. Hands down, it's safe to say it's every parent's worst nightmare. Losing their child, a kidnapped child, not knowing where she is, if she's okay, is she being hurt. This is truly miraculous because usually children who are kidnapped, very short window of time to get them back before they end up deceased. And I believe that's a 2 to 3 day range, where by the third day, if they are not found, they're most likely deceased. A 4-year-old girl who vanished in the dead of night in Melbourne, Australia, while camping with her family in a remote area of Western Australia, was found alive and well 18 days later in a locked house, authorities said on Wednesday. The girl, Cleo Smith, was freed after the police broke into the empty house in Carnarvon, the same town where she and her family lived. So her family lived relatively close by to the campground site, and where little Cleo was found was actually very close by to where the campsite was. The girl, Cleo Smith, was freed after the police broke into an empty house in Carnarvon. Detectives openly wept upon finding her. I can't even imagine how emotional that was for the detectives and the police that were searching for her these 18 days. What a failing. Like, I don't even know how it would be so overwhelming for me if I was searching for a little girl and finally actually found her, knowing what the statistics are. Usually people who attempt kidnappings are family members, somebody that the child knows, your next door neighbor. I believe it's like 9 times out of 10, it's usually a family member, could be over a custody dispute, but for stranger kidnappings are definitely more rare. The police later detained a 36-year-old man and said he had no known connection to the family. Questions remain, such as if the man will be charged. In a news conference on Wednesday afternoon, the police said that her kidnapping appeared to be opportunistic and that the detained man was not a registered sex offender. On Wednesday afternoon, the police released a photo of Cleo smiling and sitting in a hospital bed. The rescue brought an end to a case that has gripped Australia and had led to a major search effort involving 100 police officers and military surveillance planes. The authorities had offered a reward of $1 million Australian dollars, which equals 740,000 US dollars, for information leading to Cleo. It is rare for a missing child to be found alive after so long when they are taken by someone who is not a relative. In Australia, approximately 25,000 young people are reported missing each year, according to the authorities. The likelihood of her being recovered alive was very low and getting lower as the days passed. For a child to be taken and found well after nearly 19 days, I don't think I've ever seen this kind of outcome. And that is truly the truth right there. It's very rare for a child to be found after 19 days. And she seems relatively unharmed, which is incredible. And I pray to the gods that she was not harmed in any sick and twisted way. It is being reported that the man who did take her had a obsession with Bratz dolls. Like, why? Terry Goldsworthy, an associate professor of criminology at Bond University, said the issuing of a reward so quickly after the disappearance was also unusual. Normally, you have rewards issued when normal investigative techniques are exhausted and it becomes a cold case, he said. The police said it was unlikely that the reward would be claimed because it was a combination of factors, not a single lead, that had led to Cleo's rescue. Can we just pause here 1 second and get a little off topic here? I have never heard of anybody being paid out any reward money for any missing person found or anything that the police have offered up. If anyone knows of anyone who's received reward money for helping police with any type of case or anything of the sort, let me know in the comments below, because I'd like to know who receives all this like missing reward money and if the person's found. But sometimes I feel like they just put it up just to put it up in hopes that they could get a lead on a case, which is great if they do. But if someone actually does really help them crack a case, I wonder if they're truly paid out that money. It's a good question. Cleo went camping on October 16th with her mother, Ellie Smith, her stepfather, Jake Glidden, and a younger sister, who is a baby. The last time Cleo was seen was around 1:30 a.m. the next day, when she asked her mother for a glass of water. When her mother awoke later, she noticed that the girl, along with her sleeping bag, was missing. The tent zipper had been undone to a height that Cleo could not have reached, officials said. When the Western Australia government announced a reward for Cleo, hundreds of calls about sightings poured in from around the country. They were reports that bounty hunters traveled to the area hoping to cash in on the reward. The police interviewed 110 people who were at the campsite the night she disappeared. The popular but remote spot called Quobo Blowholes is along Western Australia's coast and an hour's drive north of the Carnarvon, a coastal town of about 5,000 people. Officials investigated reports of past predatory behavior in the area and examined the outside of the Smith's house for signs of a stalker who might have attempted to break in. They also sifted through bags of rubbish, scoured the dark web, and examined thousands of records from cell phone towers. Pretty impressive. Australians police, I give them a lot of credit. They really did do a lot of work, as I've been seeing these reports in the past 18 days. About 1 a.m. on Wednesday, a police team found Cleo. They've been looking for that needle in the haystack, Deputy Commissioner Blanche told a local TV station. Late last night, they found that needle that led them to the address and rescued Cleo. When she said, "My name is Cleo, I don't think there was a dry eye in the house," he added. "This morning, I have seen seasoned detectives openly crying with relief. Our family is whole again," Miss Smith said on social media after Cleo's rescue. Terrence Darrell Kelly had been charged with various offenses relating to the abduction of 4-year-old Cleo Smith. One of the charges is forcibly taking a child under 16, said the statement, which did not detail what or how many other charges were laid. The legal action came as the authorities continued to address questions about how the police had been able to find the girl on Wednesday, alive and well more than 2 weeks after she was taken from a remote spot along the coast of Western Australia. On Wednesday, the police commissioner, Chris Dawson, told reporters that information about a car was really important. The police had previously spoken about a vehicle that was seen traveling away from the family's campsite in the early hours of the morning Cleo was taken. That was the breaking tip right there. That is what led them to this man's house where little Cleo was rescued from. Local news media reported that neighbors had seen the suspect buying diapers and had heard a child crying in his house. It's heartbreaking. "My name is Cleo," the girl said to the 4 police officers who forced their way into the suspect's locked home in the small town of Carnarvon around 1 a.m. on Wednesday. The police later said that the lights were on and she was playing with toys when they found her. The suspect was arrested shortly before Cleo was rescued outside and on the same street as the house, the authorities said. The police believe the man acted alone. The man was taken to a hospital on Wednesday for what the police said were self-inflicted injuries. He was taken to the hospital again on Thursday morning, which is this morning, the police said, adding that they did not believe his injuries were serious. good. I hope they gave it to him, man. How much you want to bet those weren't self-inflicted, honestly? Let's be real. Like, what would ever possess a grown-ass man to kidnap a child from a tent in the middle of the night? He appeared at the Carnarvon Courthouse on Thursday. Local journalists who attended the hearing reported that he did not apply for bail. He was barefoot and appeared agitated at the presence of reporters. The local government has called on residents to maintain our unity, positivity, and community spirit, and the police asked residents not to theorize about the case online. That I can agree with. I've seen a lot. I actually watched the interviews with Cleo's mother and her boyfriend, which is like her stepfather. And I can say that right off the bat, I didn't get this sense of urgency that a mother would normally have with her 4-year-old, her baby, missing.
4 days since she saw her daughter, Ellie Smith's nightmare continues.
How I'm feeling is how I never want any mother to feel.
The family of 4 had been camping at the remote Blowholes campsite on WA's rugged Midwest coast. About 1:30 on Saturday morning, her parents gave her a drink of water. When they woke, about 6 a.m, Cleo wasn't in the tent, her sleeping bag also missing.
As we passed the divider, I went into the other room and the zipper was open. Cleo was gone.
An urgent search of the land and sea has found no sign of the girl. Wild weather leading efforts to be briefly suspended this morning. But this afternoon they resumed with the mounted police arriving and officers checking nearby shacks.
We have to hold hope that Cleo can still be found alive. We still have grave concerns for Cleo's safety, hence why time is of the essence, and we're throwing as much as we can at this investigation.
Police are investigating the possibility Cleo was abducted, with officers around the state urged to be on the lookout.
The reality is, if we do explore the scenario that there is third-party involvement and Cleo has been taken from this area by somebody, we are in day 4, they could be anywhere. So that is why it's really important we get the message out nationwide.
Her parents believe someone must know where she is.
Someone has to. It's been 4 days. Yeah, they have to.
They just want her back.
Cleo was born 8 weeks early. She was premature and she's been strong from the day she was born. So I know she can get through whatever she's going through.
The Premier today added his thanks for the massive search effort.
And to Cleo's family, and on behalf of all West Australians, we are thinking of you at this difficult time.
And the community of Carnarvon has been spreading the message and helping in any way it can.
We sit and watch the sand dunes and we just think that she's just going to run down it and back into our arms, but we're still waiting.
Police will continue to scour the area with hopes the weather will stay fine in coming days. James Carmody, ABC News, Quabba Station.
I know everyone acts different under such extreme circumstances. People have to remember this, including myself, when it comes to how people act, how they show emotions is huge. I'm not a big emotional person. Outwardly, I guess. Some people internalize it more. But when it comes to grief or loss, everyone processes that differently. Considering this mother has also a young baby, I believe under 6 months old, honestly, I had a bad feeling when I watched the interview that maybe there was more to the story. I'm feeling guilty right now a little bit for even thinking maybe it was possible, because usually when it comes to child kidnappings, usually a parent is involved, a family, a neighbor, a friend, somebody close to the child. So I can understand why a lot of people jump to conclusions, and the interview didn't show the mother in the greatest of lights, which I understand, it could have been the way that they recorded and edited that that interview. Things are chopped up in the post-editing process. So maybe she did get a mess, and maybe they stopped filming and cut out those extremely emotional parts because they wanted to get the information about Cleo missing out there, which is understandable. We definitely have a huge issue when it comes to people speculating and placing blame way too quick on people who are not guilty. And I just think of that case, Heidi Broussard, and what was her name? Megan, I believe. But the mother and the baby who went missing, people were very quick to blame her boyfriend or husband. I can't recall if she was married, but basically people were very quick to blame him, and he was at work and he didn't do anything. It was her best friend that actually kidnapped her and the baby and killed her and went off to pretend like the baby was hers. Very sad story. Very heartbreaking. But I can't imagine what her boyfriend was going through on top of having to deal with this huge traumatic situation and your whole life just changing in the drop of a dime to being accused of being the person responsible. So I think people need to think before they speak when it comes to certain situations. And I really hope and pray that Cleo is okay and that she wasn't harmed in any bad way. Apparently this guy had an obsession with Bratz dolls, and maybe in his sick and twisted head, he thought she looked like a Bratz doll. I hope. Because that effect on a 4-year-old, I can't. It's literally, it will make me cry right now, and I don't want to start crying. So anyways, if you haven't liked and subscribed, please do down below. It'd be greatly appreciated. I am trying to find a new direction with my YouTube channel, and I'm trying to figure out this whole setup and thing, and basically there's a lot involved in this, more than I thought initially. So bear with me while I find my way. And yeah, please please subscribe, stick around, and I will see you guys soon. All right, take care. Bye.